welcome to another episode of Skillcraft. This is episode 6, and today we're going to be working on our little city that we started over here in the shopping district. Last episode, I was stocking this shop, getting it all finished, and it's not. I have not stocked it yet. Those books are going to be taking a while, but hopefully they're going to be done by the end of this episode. But you probably won't see much of it because it's kind of boring. We also did this little outside section to fill in this gap. We did a lot of texturing and just chaos. And this bit really got me excited to be working on the rest of the build. There's just one issue. This needs texturing first. So I think that's the first thing we're going to do today. We're going to texture this in. And today I also want to move back over to my Viking village because there's a little area that I've neglected for a long time, so we should probably get them done. So I'm going to start with the paths here, and we just want to break up this pattern a little bit. So I've got some stone, some grey concrete, and some cobblestone. And we're just gonna rough it up a little bit, break up this ugly kind of repeating pattern, and yeah, just make it feel a little bit more worn down. And there we go. There is the texture for the paths in. I need to do these little gutters next, as well as the road, which will need some like stripes. We're also going to put a few little potholes in, because I feel like that's a little bit of realism. A bit too much realism, maybe. But we're going to go with it. And so let's just get that texture down right now. And there we go. There is a chicken enjoying the road. So now I just need to add in a few lampposts and some drains. And then the texture on the street is basically done. There's a few little side sections like here and one over there. But we'll get to those as we build the buildings around them, because I think it'll be a little bit easier. And yeah, so let's add in these drains and the lamppost, and then we can move back to my Viking base. And there we go, we've got a few lampposts in. A lot of the actual lights are attached to the buildings, so there's only actually 2. But we've also got a few drains just sprinkled in there. There's 4 of them, and they work really well. These new mesh copper blocks, awesome. They work perfectly as drains. So now that we've prepared this perfect canvas to start building buildings, I'm going to not build any buildings here. So we are back at my Viking village, and this bottom section has been sat here for quite a long time. I set this up probably like episode 2 or 3, and I haven't done anything with it. So I think it's probably time we start getting these buildings in. And I don't know how many we'll do today. I'm gonna get this one that I'm stood on here and this one done today, and we'll see about this one because it is quite big, and I started designing it on a creative world and I hate it. So yeah, we're gonna have to think of something else to put here, I guess. Maybe I'll change the shape up a little bit because I just don't really like it's too big, just too big for a Viking style. And then the diagonal as well, although I do want to try that diagonal. With this building here, because it's honestly the quickest and most fun to do, so I'm gonna get this one done. It's also the one containing my pumpkin farm, which has been producing some. It's pretty good actually. Just how I got down here. Okay, it's pretty good actually, considering I don't really load it all that much recently, but it's been taken away. There's also a bamboo farm down there that helps with getting emeralds. It's just turning sticks. Skilltree set this up, and this is not actually that efficient, but it's been on like 2 and a bit stacks for a while now. But it's going. I don't really use it that much, to be fair, but it makes use of allays, which is pretty cool, and auto crafters, which is very fun. So those are my 2 farms that I want to cover up. I really need a better way down. So I've collected some of the materials here, looking pretty simple. So let's get cracking. So it's a very basic start, and this is a pretty short house. So we're only actually going up 2, and we can't actually fully fill the wall, because if we put a block here or a stair or anything, the minecart's going to get blocked, which is a little bit annoying. But I do have something to put here later, which will Cover that up. Now we're gonna put a little bit of moss. This will make a little bit more sense in a bit. I just need it to add the trim of the roof. And there we go, we've got a nice lovely diagonal moss roof. And now we can work on the actual other side. Gotta get that in. Choosing a diagonal, yeah, quite annoying. Took a little bit to get it right, but I think it does look alright. So with the basic shape done on both sides, let's spice up this moss roof a little bit more and add some crazy foliage. Well, I did get a little bit carried away and decorated the rest of the entire house. So we have a finished building. This has a nice chaotic roof here with some colours and flowers and moss. And the rest of it, I've gone with a similar theme of just flowers galore. And we've added a few pots. This is how I hid that little hole. Just put some barrels and crafting tables. Make it look like maybe a little bit of a workstation or a storage station. And we just covered it with pots, flowers, leaves, anything and everything, just to make it blend into the nature a little bit more. And it's always the little ones that I seem to love. This might be one of my favorite builds here. It's so simple, but it's like a nice diagonal little build, and I love all the flowers. So yeah, it is odd how that works, but there is one last thing that I want to do, and that's just to add a little bit of like a cross on the top, like a lot of Viking builds have. It is a little bit awkward, but I've added this trapdoor to sort of smooth the transition because it is on a diagonal, but I think it works alright. So there we go, build number 1 is done. Although I have just realised I've put the door on this side, and since designing this, I've moved the path a little bit so it comes in this side and snakes through, just to make sure, just to make it so I don't have to build like an entire village. I didn't want this project to go on forever because I do have other things planned, as well as an entire city to build. But so I did like sort of just reduce it a little bit in size. But I think I could probably just move the door to the other side and we'll be fine. And then once these buildings are in, I'm gonna continue this forest around because there's a lot of blank space that just would look a little bit odd. So let's just do this. This should be pretty simple. And there we go, all fixed. I actually think it might be a little bit better. It feels a little bit more tucked in here. So now that we've got that building done, I want to check out the Nether Hub because Skillcraft has changed the design, and he said the sort of base section of it is done, where you can get a good feel for it. So I'm gonna go check it out, see what it's like. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like this a lot more. And it's actually spawn-proof by the looks of it, which is good, because the old one, it was not. It was very annoying. But yeah, this looks pretty good. This is very simple, repetitive design. All good trademarks of a Nether Hub, like we did last season. Although I do not envy the choice of Mangrove. Mangrove's quite annoying to get, so I'm sure he'll have fun with that. Where was my base? It was this one, yeah. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Right, now I want to work on this building here. And when I say building, it's actually kind of two. It's two very small buildings linked with a bit of an alleyway in between. Now, these buildings down here aren't actually that Viking-y, I'm gonna be honest. They're a little bit odd, they're a little bit strange, but I felt like doing them, so that's what I've gone for. I mean, obviously they're made out of spruce and dark oak and wood, so they're gonna feel somewhat Viking-y, but it's a little bit of a stretch, and they're not really based on the Viking style. This one is a little bit, but this one definitely is. But you know, we're gonna go ahead and do it. So let's start with the small one. And there we go, a nice little shack attached to what is going to be a bigger building. I think this looks pretty good. It was a fun challenge trying to like pack in a lot of detail into a very little space, and I think turned out quite an interesting shape. I particularly like the trapdoor design I did on the top of the roof. Hey, it's a design with trapdoors, I'm gonna love it. But you can probably see from this that it's not really that Viking-y, especially this this barred alleyway. Yeah, it's a little bit odd, but I've gone with it. And we also need to put some details on the sides here, as per usual. But let's do the bigger building. So I've got the base shape in for this building. Pretty simple, just a block. Okay, not much to say about this bit. Let's get the roof on, I guess. That's what we'll do next. And there we go. The roof is on. Pretty simple A-frame design with a little, like, cross at the top again, like here and here. Really makes that, give it, like, a little bit of a Viking feel, because otherwise it looks quite generic. I've had a slight window, although you can't actually really see it. Can I climb up here? Parkour. You still can't even see it. It's just like an upside down stairs. I think it... Can I make... No. Okay, let me just pillar up. I think it gives it like a little bit of a nice little bit of depth. Just a tiny little window. I could maybe do a slab, but I quite like the stair. Plus, it's what I had on me, so that's what I used. Anyway, let's get these final details on. We got the front to do and this big door. And we'll just like go around it and maybe add a little bit of path, a little bit of details to that alleyway thing. And then this building is done. Quite simple, quite quick. And here we go. I've completed this build. We've added a few details just surrounding the building. A little bit of foliage here. Ow. And this little pathway that just cuts around at the back. Because I have a little bit of a plan for this area. So I've sort of kept it too wide and it just sort of follows this little ridge, which I'm going to be doing a little something with next. And I quite like this little pot at the top there. I think that was quite a cool little detail. So let's move on to... Oh, also, there is no interior. Yep, I put one torch in it to stop stuff spawning. And at night, maybe it will glow through these windows. But I probably won't be doing interiors. Yeah, that's pretty much how all of my builds go. So now I want to fill this little blank section. Also, I guess I'll probably figure out what to do with those walls because I am going to be seeing them. So they need a little bit of detail. But I thought I'd leave that until I figure out what I'm putting here. Because I have no idea what I'm putting here. I am just going to wing it, sort of, and we'll see. So, following along with this stuff over here, I have, like, raised it up and created a bit of a flat platform and what I think is quite a fun little alleyway. I love some alleyways in Minecraft builds. There's something about them. It just makes me really want to walk down them. Don't know why, but I think looks pretty cool. And yeah, this is just the same as this and, like, all of the stuff that I've built. All of the many platforms that just, like, make it a little bit easier to terraform, and I think it makes it look quite nice. It creates a very like leveled system. So you've got like houses that like stack down. So these are the lowest that it gets, and then makes like quite a difference with the height over there. You know, they look visually very different. But now I have to decide what I actually want to put on here. Originally, I was thinking crops because I got that big wheat field up there, and like a lot of these cut out areas, I've added farm type things. So I've got sheep and I've got cows over that way, and then obviously the big wheat one. So I was thinking maybe some carrots or like a sweet berry like farm, because I quite like the look of these if you line them up into rows, and it is quite small. But I also had the idea maybe of like a fountain, but looking at this space, it might be a little bit small. So what could I do? Because I'm not really set on either of those. I feel like there could be something better. I'm gonna think it over a little bit. Okay, idea. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I think I'm willing to give it a try, and if we destroy it, we'll destroy it and put a little berry field there. So, I think, thinking about like Norse mythology, we could probably put like a shrine here or something, because they would pray to gods. I mean, this is Vikings we're talking about, so it makes sense. I don't really have anything like that around here. I guess the closest I've gotten was the nether portal, which is, and I suppose like these little symbols, but they're not really. This nether portal bit meant to be like a bit like a shrine, but I think we could go use some of these like tough stuff, which look quite good as like a stone shrine. So let's give that a shot and see how it looks. I think this actually worked really well. I've created some like stone pillars, some like totem pole looking things, just using some like chiseled tough bricks, just sort of mixing them, and these just work really well. They fit that Viking vibe so well. Honestly, perfect. And then I've also added some of these candles, which give it that shrine feeling I was looking for, and some pressure plates that act as sort of like offering plates. Maybe they put food on it as offerings to the gods or something. I don't know. And then I've also added some overgrownness. As always, I love doing that. Added a little bit to this back empty wall. So I've added a window which just matches up with the other side. Although I did add a trapdoor to give it a little bit of like, I don't know, like a coziness to it. And then I've added this little plant. I actually quite like this design. I think using the cactus really makes it look kind of interesting. And it just fills the wall a little bit. I hate having blank spaces. I wasn't really sure what to do with this one though. So that is a blank space, but it's not too bad. Well, this wasn't necessarily the plan for today, but ow. While I'm on a roll, I think I should probably finish this building over here. I think I'm going to finish my little Viking village temporarily. Now, I've been working on this village for a while now, so it makes sense to just sort of get it done. It was meant to be my starter base, if you can call this a starter base. I mean, as you can tell, it's episode 7, and I'm still working on it. But I say temporarily because, I mean, I had planned to make it bigger, but I kind of want to finish it. I want to get it done, and because I want to move on to bigger things. I mean, I've got a city to build. It's not going to be easy. So for that reason, I'm kind of downscaling, and because I had planned to fill all of that area, but obviously now I'm not. So we might come back to it though. That's why I've said temporarily, because I would like to finish this project, and there's quite a bit of space to fill that I think could be more interesting. But I think I'll come back to that by the end of the season. Maybe, I don't know. This might be the end of it, or I could come back. Basically, a lot of I don't know, and I'm not really sure. But I think for now, we will finish this building here, which I've now made shorter. It's more of like a longer building, which will fit the Viking style a little bit more. But then I can call this finished, and we can move on with our lives and build some more different, cooler stuff. So basically, let's build a house. Now, I am kind of winging it, so I'm going to use the materials I have, and hopefully we can make something good. Although, by the looks of it, I do need more spruce, so let's pop up to the storage room, which is luckily right over there. So I think I want to use spruce stripped logs in a bit of like an alternating pattern, because I think that might, I don't know, look pretty cool, I guess. Kind of winging this, as I said. But it might give it that sort of planked vibe, I guess. I don't know, it's a little bit abstract, but I think it'll work. I think it'll look pretty cool. And we will go, I reckon, 3 from there, so about this tall, all the way around. And we'll fill in the spruce as well. So because of the shape of this building, it is very long. So naturally, it made me think of a traditional Viking longhouse, which is probably what you sort of think of when you think Vikings. So I'm going to quickly Google some images, and we'll come back with maybe a roof shape. That's probably the most identifiable thing. So like 10 minutes of struggling later, I've ended up with this shape. I think this is actually quite a cool shape. It's a little bit weird, but it is pretty accurate from the images I could find, and I think it actually looks quite nicely sat in there like that. I particularly like the mangrove sort of trim. I wanted to like change it up a little bit, and I completely forgot the mangrove logs aren't actually bright red, because I wanted something like spruce, but I was like, dark oak's too dark, normal oak is too bright, and then I realized mangrove has a log form. I'm just used to using mangrove as that bright red color, so it works quite well. I should definitely consider this more, although not exactly easy to get. Anyway, I think this front is a perfect place for a door, if I can figure out how to do it at a diagonal like that. I have taken the coward's approach of not actually put a door in here, but I actually think an archway looks a bit nice. What? Who decided having a base with berries would be a good idea? keep walking into them and taking damage. But yeah, I think this actually looks a little bit nicer. It makes a little bit more sense. You wouldn't really have a door in a longhouse. I don't think, anyway. I'm not an expert here. I'm actually going to use oak for a floor. I'm going to put a floor in because, I mean, having no door does force me to do an interior. So, I guess that's a good and bad thing. So, I guess I'm not really sure what to do on these sides. I think this, like, interchanging pattern, is that the right word? Makes it look quite good. And also kind of difficult to detail, but, like, it doesn't look too bad, especially just with all of this. Maybe if I just put some like leaves going up the side, maybe work in a window or two, because it is quite dark in here. And then we'll clean up this interior. I'm not sure what I'll do for the interior and how much I'll put in it, because I mean it's a diagonal interior, of course, just to make it even more difficult. And I mean it's not very wide as well, so this might be like the hardest interior I've ever done. So that'll be fun. Let's leave that till last. I think that's looking lovely. I've just added a big sort of leaf plant thing and just thrown some stuff around that look. I'm gonna hit someone. Those are so annoying. Oh, perfect. Oi! Anyway, we've got some lovely foliage. Looks great. Let's move on to the interior. So I think I'm just going to do a bit of a jump cut and we'll see what I come up with, because I have no idea. It's very small. Well, that was certainly interesting. I finished the interior and I actually kind of found myself enjoying it a little bit. What? Crazy. Let's walk you through it a little bit. So we've got a bit of a sort of living room slash everything room out the front here. So we got a cooker that has a chimney that isn't technically time period accurate, but you know, it's fine. We needed to fill some space. And I mean, it's kind of difficult to show. There's just a lot of random details like pots and storage, and I like this little table using the scaffolding. You get a really nice 1x1 table, so you can also walk through it apparently. Oh yeah, maybe don't walk through it then, because it opens the wall. And we've got an armor stand, which I haven't actually used that much of, mainly because they are an entity, so could cause a little bit of lag. Same with this item frame, but you know, it was one-off. They'll be fine. And then moving through here, I've used trapdoors to create a little partitioned room. Again, kind of not accurate. Longhouses are kind of just one room, but I needed to break it up a little bit. So we got a bedroom back here. We got a double bed, very cramped, but pretty nice. And I think this is actually quite a cool interior. I enjoy this kind of style, and I haven't done it in a while, mainly because it takes for ages. Because all of these little random little detail things, I must have done about 100 trips back up to my storage room. It takes a lot to get to the point where there's enough clutter, but without taking up too much room. And it's a little bit of a difficult balance, but oh my jeez. I'm done with those. But anyway, I think this has turned out to be a pretty good build. There is just one last thing that I need to do before I can call this Viking village temporarily done. And that is fill this giant area with a load of trees. And there we go. I will let all of these trees grow in, and hopefully it'll be a nice, evenly dense spruce forest. But as it grows, I might like fill in a few of the gaps and stuff just to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. I missed the glide, and some of these edges it might need to come a little bit closer. Not entirely sure. We'll see when it grows. But hey, look, we've already got one tree there. That's fun. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We finally completed our starter base. Actually, before we go, let's get one last final view from above. That's looking pretty good. This has been a fun project. So, thanks for watching. If you like the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.